Thanks, Pat. The United States is cutting more than $200 million in aid to the Palestinian Authority. In notifying Congress, the State Department said it would redirect the money to, quote, high-priority projects elsewhere. The decision comes after a review of U.S. assistance to the PA. The funding had been in question for years due to the controversial policy known as pay to slay, a compensation plan for Palestinians who attack Israelis. The Taylor Force Act, which targeted that policy and threatens U.S. aid, Pat, was made earlier this year.
Well, there's something else that's got to be done. They want to take off the table the so-called right of return. This has been a sticking point for years. There's a United Nations called the UN Relief and Public Works, UNRWA, and all they do is stir up trouble with Palestinians. They have kept them in virtual bondage for years. They are in segregated camps still, and we are paying a large part of the keep of that awful agency. It should be abolished. And what they do is tell these Palestinians, we're going to get you your land back. Now, what happens when the Arabs invaded Israel, they told their followers, if you will surrender, get out of your land and join with us, then when you come back in, you will be able to have the land. And this is the land not only for them, but for their children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren and so forth. Well, the truth is, Israel took over the land. The Palestinians didn't have it anymore. And this UN agency's been there stirring up trouble ever since. So it's a very important thing that if we're going to deny funding, that's one of the agencies that should be abolished like yesterday. John?
Well, Pat, as you were just saying, the American Embassy in Jerusalem declined to comment on a media report that the Trump administration would take the so-called right of return off the negotiating table. Right of return is the idea that Palestinian refugees from 1948 and millions of their descendants could return to their homes in Israel.
This is the first time since 1949 that an American government has said we're going to stand up against the right of return because we see how lethal it is and how ridiculous it is. The Trump administration can act as a model for all 68 nations that give money to the Palestinian Authority and to UNRWA. Maybe that will happen.
The administration is expected to release its peace proposal in the near future.